Kent Brindley, vintage animation nerd, and my top 10 from the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10. These were the roughly 90-minute movies that Hanna-Barbera released as part of the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera back around 87, 88. And they and they were released on home video by World Vision when I was little, but I had only seen 2 of them back then. I had only really rented and watched 2 of them back in the 80s when I was little, like 3, 4 years old. Well, we are going to have some fun. We are going to break down the top 10 of the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10. Be warned, again, I say 80% of these I was viewing through the eyes of an adult rather than a child, so they're going to be tainted a bit. Alright. First and foremost, we have 2 honorable mentions because the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 had 2 extra special features in the form of Scooby Goes Hollywood and Yogi's Arklark. Yogi's Arklark, which played like a very early episode of Yogi's Gang from the early 70s. Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood was somewhere in between the end of the new Scooby-Doo movies and right around the time that they would start making Scooby and Scrappy. Anyway, one of these so-called honorable mentions could have easily substituted some of the movies on the list because I honestly enjoyed Yogi's Gang, and Yogi's Arklark again played like a longer episode of that. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Let's. The Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10. Number 10. Oh, right there. Number 10 on the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10. Rocking with Judy J. Judy Jetson. Hanna-Barbera was all over the map when it came to making movies about the Jetsons, and we'll get back to that a little later in the list. Rocking with Judy Jetson, just out of all of this in this collection, belongs at number 10. I'm not rating these on the film quality, but on the quality of the actual storyline. Number 9. I'm having a tough time with this. Number 9. Yogi's Great Escape. It's Yogi fleeing Jellystone Park in the company of the 3 bear cubs and dodging a couple of spontaneous, unscrupulous characters who look exactly like him and Boo Boo. Number 8. Yogi Bear and the Magical Flight of the Spruce Goose. What happened? How is this the same Hanna-Barbera that made the classic Hey There, It's Yogi Bear? What happened? The Magical Flight of the Spruce Goose, its strong point was probably throwing in the other anthropomorphic Hanna-Barbera characters so it looked like an episode of Yogi's Treasure Hunt. They even had the Dread Baron and Mumbly from Laugh Olympics to sub in for Dastardly and Muttley from their days as part of Yogi's treasure hunt. I just did not enjoy the magical flight of the Spruce Goose. I'm sorry. Number 7. Number 7. It's not in that case. Okay. This one, I'm shaving some points off because of the production value on the disc. Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf at number 7. There were some audio issues at least the start of the film and maybe up through halfway through. Wherein the background volume was cranked up, but you could barely hear the voices of Shaggy, Scooby, or Scrappy. That and the movie was not that great. What did I just say? Was that number 7? Number 6. The Good, the Bad, and the Huckleberry Hound. The Good, the Bad, and the Huckleberry Hound at number 6. Another good... It was a worthy attempt as the only movie really centered around Huck. That then had to have Quick Draw and Yogi and other characters running around. It was a worthy attempt, but I'm just not feeling it. I might have if I had rented it in childhood or something. Where were we? Was it number 6? Yes. Number 5, thus concluding this actual booklet of discs. Yogi Bear and... Back here. Yogi Bear and the Invasion of the Space Bears. Sci-fi. Cloning. Robots. I'm sold. Which... a lot of people hated the Invasion of the Space Bears the most out of any of the Yogi films, but I digress. We have aliens, we have a cloning experiment, and we have robots. I'm sold. And it was almost entertaining. Where were we? Number 4? Number 4. Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. The only one that I really rented on VHS a lot from Movie Outpost. The Boo Brothers acted more like the Three Stooges, and you know what? As a child, I'd never really got 40 minutes into the movie without turning it off. This was giving it a second glance in adulthood, or a second glance when it was rebroadcast on Cartoon Network before I realized what I'd been missing. This was actually a fun little movie. Number 3. Top Cat and the Beverly Hills Cats. Again, Hanna-Barbera took one shot at making an animated movie for Top Cat during this iteration of their animated films, and it lands squarely at number 3. Yes, it plays out like an 80, 70... Yes, it plays out like a 92-minute episode of Top Cat. And it's missing some of the gags and some of the charm from the Top Cat series of the 60s. But it was a good enough movie. It was good enough for number 3. Number 2, I lied when I said I was discarding this booklet of discs, clearly. Get back over here. Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Yes. Mostly because of childhood memories of growing up, almost wearing this VHS out. It was a good movie. For me, when I was little. Mostly because of memories of nearly wearing out that tape. And at number one favorite from the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 collection, The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. Get back over here. I hate these. The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. So here we are again with Hanna-Barbera attempting to make a movie out of the Jetsons. Always my favorite over the Flintstones. Number one. And ironically enough, number 10. The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones is just a classic out of that era in animation. And I had to think for a second and realize that I did own that VHS as well. I just grew up more as a Jetsons fan than a Flintstones fan, so I never really watched it, but looking back now, it was a very good movie. It was the pinnacle of what the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 should be. The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones at number one. Kent Brindley, vintage animation nerd and movie reviewer, signing off. I'll see you soon.